What can you do to be successful? How do you measure success? The rule of preparation, which is known as the seventh most important rule of success, is at the heart of these questions. This theory says that real success comes from careful and hard work in planning. Basically, it shows that people who are really into their job or skill spend a lot more time getting ready than the normal person. On the other hand, people who don't want to go through the trouble of properly preparing often don't realize how others can tell when they aren't trying. So, how does planning tell the difference between long-term success and just wanting to do something? Abraham Lincoln said, "I shall study and prepare myself, and someday my chance will come." This is one of my favorite quotes, and it has had a big impact on my life and attitude. A lot of great people, including Lincoln, know that careful preparation is the key to the future. The law of preparation's first rule is very simple. Do your study. It's always the little things that throw you off. A few years ago, my friend Joel Weldon gave a great talk called "Elephants Don't Bite." The main idea of his talk was that the little things that you don't pay attention to that bother you the most are the mosquitoes of life. Mosquitoes bite people all the time, but elephants never bite anyone. As one preacher put it, God is in the details. That's what he meant. If you want to be the best at what you do, you have to pay close attention to the little things. Business author Peter Drucker said that doing something without thinking about it is what leads to failure. This is the second part of the law of preparation. Taking action without thinking about the details and what might happen next seems to be the main reason why most things go wrong in life. The opposite of this statement is that almost all successes happen when people act after thought and planning. Being very careful when planning ahead doesn't mean you'll always succeed, but it does mean that you'll almost certainly fail if you don't. Trigo said that if something isn't worth doing, it's not worth doing well. This is the third part of the law. It's true that details are important, but you should think about how valuable and important each one is before you spend too much time and money on them. Achieve more. The law of forced efficiency is the eighth law. Because of this rule, the more things you have to do in a short amount of time, the more you will have to work on your most important ones. We can also say that we never have enough time to do everything, but we always have time to do the important things. It's more possible that you'll have to think about and review your activities and jobs so that you focus your limited mental and physical energy on the things that are most important to your success. The law of forced efficiency is made up of two parts. The first is that you'll never have enough time to do everything you need to. This will be more true for you as you get busy and more successful. If you have a lot of free time, it means you are not working hard enough or getting paid enough. You are also well on your way to being frustrated and disappointed in your job. For real, the only way to find out how much you can do is to try to do too much. Going too far is the only way to find out how far you can go. When you take on more than you can handle, you learn how much you can handle. The second part of this rule is to always ask yourself, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? This is the most important question for personal efficiency and time management. Every hour and minute, ask yourself, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? This will help you stay on track and focus on your most important tasks. This is the ninth law of achievement, the law of choice. When you make a clear choice and take action, you'll take a huge step forward in your life. Men and women who are very successful tend to be very clear about what they think and do. They give things a lot of thought, figure out exactly what they want, then make choices and take steps to make those decisions come true. You've had times in your life when you weren't sure what to do, but you got through them by making a clear choice one way or the other. When you look back, you'll probably see that as the choice that changed everything. Successful people are good at making choices. This is one of the most important critical thinking skills they can have. In fact, the paths of managers who were quickly promoted were compared to those of managers who were not promoted at all in one study. Researchers found that the only behavior that was different between the two groups was that the managers who were promoted more quickly were more determined to do their jobs. One interesting thing that came out of this study was that both groups of managers got the same correct answers on written tests with made-up problems. But the managers who did a good job were ready to make choices based on the answers, while the managers who did a bad job were afraid to because they thought they might make a mistake. Sometimes, just being determined is all it takes to take charge of a situation and move things along faster. What we've learned is that high achievers don't always make the right choices, but they do make the right choices most of the time. They listen to what others have to say and fix themselves. They learn new things and make changes as needed. But they always make up their minds and move forward. Their attitudes toward life are never vague or changeable. The first part of the law of decision says, "Be brave, and forces you can't see will help you." It seems that when you take charge of a situation and move forward with courage, a lot of hidden forces show up to help you reach your goals. Most of these forces are described by the laws in this program. The fact that you are ready to act now instead of putting things off seems to bring global forces to your aid. The second part of the law of decision comes from the great book, Wake Up and Live, by Dorothea Brande. She wrote that the simple success formula that changed her life and the lives of thousands of people who heard her speak about it changed their lives too. Act as if it were impossible to fail, and it shall be. When you believe that you will be successful if you just do something, and then you do it, a whole series of, when you're not sure what to do, act like you can't fail, and keep going. The third part of the law of decision comes from the popular Nike ad that says, "Just do it." These three words really sum up one of the best ways to be successful. Just do it. So, make up your mind, do it, take a chance, and be brave, and forces you can't see will help you. We now have the law of creativity as the 10th law of achievement. Every step forward in human history starts with a thought in the mind of one person. You can fix your problems, get past your problems, and reach your goals by coming up with new ideas. The future will depend on ideas. You can only really make progress if you think of and do something new and different from what has been done before. It only takes a small new idea to set you on the path to wealth and great success in life. In the first part of this rule, it says that you can basically come up with as many good ideas as you want. This means that your future possibilities are also endless. You can get from where you are to where you want to go with the help of ideas. Your only job is to come up with as many ideas as you can, carefully weigh them against your current goals, and then act on the ones that make the cut. The power of thought, creative focus, and ideas can help you get through almost anything in life. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." This law's second part comes from that quote. Your mind is set up in a way that you can't have an idea and not also be able to make that idea come true. There is power within and around you to make a thought come true just because it exists in your aware mind. You only need to ask yourself, how badly do I want it? Napoleon Bonaparte said, "Imagination rules the world." Everything you see around you came from a single thought in the mind of one person. Our whole world began with a thought that became real. Einstein said that thought is more important than facts, which is the fourth and last part of this rule. It's happened many times in your life and other people's lives when the facts say one thing, but your thoughts and creativity let you do something totally different. That one idea you had at that very moment will almost always mark an important turning point in your life. Everything that changes in your life and your fate starts with an idea that makes you see things differently and act in ways you wouldn't have taken before the idea. You are creative no matter where you are, what you're doing, or what you're going through. You have the power to come up with ideas, solve problems, and reach any goal. You decide. Being able to change your mind is the 11th law of achievement. This law says that you will be most successful if you know what you want to achieve, but are open to different ways to get there. Men and women who have done great things have come to this very important decision. You usually have a pretty good idea of what you need to do to reach your goal when you make a plan and set a clear goal for yourself. But 1,000 things can happen, and each one will mean that you need to change your plan. Open, flexible, and fluid people are the happiest and most excited. This is because they can deal with the inevitable and the many changes they need to make in order to reach a goal that is important to them. The first part of the law of flexibility says that when you feel frustrated and resistant, it's likely that you're not doing the right thing. Whenever you feel like you're stuck and not getting anywhere, take a step back and look at your plan again. Just make sure that the goal you're working toward is still the one you want. After that, you can make better plans. Think about how a computer scientist thinks. When he plans a computer program, he knows that it will have a lot of bugs when it's done. It is impossible for a computer program to work properly the first time it is run. But the coder knows this is going to happen and starts going back through the program step by step to fix the mistakes. The programmer will finish the job and the program will work perfectly. In the same way, if your plans don't seem to be working, look at yourself in the mirror, go over them again, and change them until you have perfect plans that work and help you move forward without stress and anger. The second part of the law of flexibility says that you are only as free in life as the number of well-thought-out choices you have. How free you are and how happy you are depend a lot on how many options you have in case your first choice doesn't work. Your freedom grows as you think through your choices and possibilities more deeply. You're ready to switch plans if one doesn't work out the way you thought it would. When I teach decision-making classes, I tell my students that once they've made a choice, they should ask themselves, what else would be a good choice in this situation? Coming up with other options can help you think more clearly and can increase your sense of accomplishment in a big way. The third part of the law of flexibility says that a crisis is a time when things are trying to change. Whenever you're going through any kind of crisis or problem, take a step back and ask yourself, what change is trying to happen that this crisis is showing me? Something bad might be going on at work, in your personal life, with your health, or with your business. A crisis almost always means that something is wrong, and that continuing down the same path would not be a good idea. In other words, what do you want to change in your life right now? One of the fourth parts of the law of flexibility says that all failures are caused by wrong beliefs. Most of the time, every mistake you have will be caused by a wrong assumption you made and didn't question. Clarifying your ideas is always a good thing to do, but it's especially helpful when things aren't going the way you want them to. So, what do you think is true? First, what are your clear beliefs, the ones you know you have? The second question is, what are your latent assumptions? These are the ideas you may believe without thinking about them. What if the things you believed to be true were actually false? What changes does this mean? What level of adaptability and ease would you need to change your plans if something you thought was true turned out not to be? Making the right choices and meeting your goals on time is always possible because the ideas you were working from turned out to be correct. A lot of people fail when they try to start their own businesses because they think there will be enough people interested in the product or service they want to provide. Aside from that, They think that customers will switch from their current providers to them just because they are in the market. They sometimes think they are good enough at what they do to offer the product or service at a price that is competitive and still make a profit. Well, having the mindset to question your beliefs, to check your theories against reality while being open to the idea that you might be wrong, is the very thing that will help you reach your goals. A lot of people think that being flexible will be the most important trait for success in our competitive society for the rest of this century and the next. Another law that helps people reach their goals is the law of persistence. This law says that how much you believe in yourself and your ability to succeed is shown by how long you can keep going, even when things go wrong or you're let down. Persistence is what makes people successful. Sometimes your determination is the thing that sets you apart from everyone else and makes you the best at what you do. Being able to keep going longer than everyone else is sometimes the best thing about you. The first part of the law of persistence says that being persistent is just living by self-discipline. When you keep going even though setbacks, delays, disappointments and temporary defeats happen, you show yourself and others that you have the self-discipline and self-mastery traits that are necessary for you to achieve great success. When Churchill summed up the second part of the law of persistence, he said, "Never, never give up." Churchill believed, and he proved throughout his life, that stubbornness like a bulldog in the face of what seemed like an overwhelming defeat was often what turned that defeat into victory. I already told you that having a strong, burning desire is important for getting past problems and reaching big goals. Your goals must be completely personal for your desire to be strong enough. You have to pick your own goals, not goals that someone else wants you to reach or that you want to reach to please someone. Before you can set goals that will help you reach them, you need to be completely honest about what you want for yourself. You can still help other people at home or at work, though. This only means that you should start with yourself when making life goals and work your way outward. What do I really want to do with my life? This is the great question and one of the most important ones to ask when making goals. What would you do, be, or have if you could have anything? Don't forget that you can't hit something you can't see. What do I really want to do with my life? This is a question you should ask yourself over and over again in the going years. You start with your vision, your beliefs, and your ideas to figure out what your real goals are. These will often feel like dreams at first because they are so far from reality. Now it's your job to make them real, like drawing a house of your dreams on paper. First, you set broad goals, and then you move on to more detailed ones. 1. Right now, what are your 3 most important business and job goals? 2. What are your 3 most important money goals at the moment? 3. What are your 3 most important goals right now for your family or partner? 4. Right now, what are your 3 most important health and fitness goals? Here's the other side of the question. What are my 3 biggest worries or concerns in life right now? What bothers you, worries you, concerns you, and concerns you in your daily life? What makes you angry or annoyed? It's not anything else that's making you unhappy. As a friend of mine often says, where does it hurt? Once you know what your biggest issues are, ask yourself, 1. What are the best ways to solve each of these issues? 2. What can I do right away to get rid of these issues or worries? 3. What is the shortcut and straight way to fix this? William of Ockham, a British scientist, came up with a way to solve problems in 1142. It is now known as Occam's razor. This way of thought has been well known and liked for a long time. Occam said that the best way to solve a problem is usually the one that is easiest, straight, and costs the least amount of time. It's common for people to make problems and goals too hard to understand. But the harder something is to solve, the less likely it is to be used, and the longer it will take to see any results. Your goal should be to make the answer as easy as possible and get to the goal as quickly as possible. As an example, a lot of people tell me they want to make twice as much money. When someone is in sales, I ask them, "What is the fastest and most direct way to double your income?" They give me a few ideas, and then I give them what I think is the best answer. Spend twice as much time face-to-face with approved leads. Spend more time with better leads. This has always been the best way to make more sales. You will likely make twice as much money from sales if you spend twice as much time each day talking to leads in person. You don't have to change anything else about what you're doing. Study from as early as 1928 show that the typical salesman today meets with leads in person for 90 minutes every day. The salespeople who make the most money spend 2 or 3 times that amount. Every day is well planned out so that they can spend more time with people who can and will buy their goods or services. They get better at selling, sell more, and make more money in less time the more time they spend with leads and buyers. A close look at your work would show that 20% of what you do is responsible for 80% of the value of everything you do. People who take my advanced coaching classes learn how to find the 20% of things that add the most value and then do twice as many of them. We teach them to do fewer, more important jobs instead of teaching them how to use their brains to manage their time and get more done. This method has helped some of our clients double their output and, as a result, their pay in as little as 30 days. It doesn't matter how long someone has been in the same job. You should always look for the easiest and quickest way to get where you need to go. Most importantly, do something. Look for the answer that has the fewest steps. Move on. Do something. Get an idea of how important it is. Even the best ideas are useless until they are put into action. The saddest words of mice and men are these: "It might have been." Use the magic wand method to figure out what your real goals are. Think about having a special wand that you can wave over a certain part of your life. Your dreams come true when you wave this magic wand. Cast a magic wand over your business and job. What 3 things would you like to see happen in your work? Please wave a magic wand over your money and tell me what 3 dreams you would make come true in terms of your money. Cast a magic wand over your family and relationships. What 3 things would you want in this area if you could have them? How would your family life be if it were perfect in every way? Would you wave a magic wand over your health and fitness and ask what 3 things you could wish for your body and physical well-being? What would be different about your health now if it were wonderful? If you could have any 3 skills or abilities raised to a high level, what would they be? Rub a magic wand over your skills and abilities. What do you want to get better at? One side of the magic wand method is fun, and the other side is very telling. When you think you have a magic wand, your real goals in that area show up. This activity can also help people who aren't sure what they want or where they want to go. Interesting things show up when you ask this question. Imagine you went to the doctor for a full checkup. This goal-setting question will show you what your real values are. A few days later, your doctor calls you and says, "I have good news and bad news for you." The good news is that for the next 6 months, you will live the healthiest and most energetic life you could ever imagine. The bad news is that at the end of 180 days, you will drop dead from an illness that can't be cured. If you found out today that you only had 6 months to live, how would you spend them? With whom would you spend the time? Where do you want to go? What are you going to try to finish? What would you do more or less of? That which first comes to mind when you ask yourself this question will show you what you really believe in. The most important people in your life would almost always be in your answer. In this case, not many people would say, I'd like to go back to the office and return a few calls. Use the magic wand method to set your real goals. Imagine that there are no limits on you. Write down your dreams. A dream list is a list of all the things you want to be, have, or do in the future. Mark Victor Hansen, co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, says that if you could do anything, you should sit down with a piece of paper and write down at least 100 things you want to achieve in your life. Then, picture yourself having all the time, money, friends, skills, and tools you need to reach your goals. Allow yourself to dream and make up stories. Just make a list of everything you want as if you had no limits. You will find out something amazing. 30 days after writing down these 100 dreams, amazing things will start to happen in your life, and you will start to reach your goals at a speed that you can't even imagine right now. After writing down at least 100 goals, this seems to happen to almost everyone. Try it out. You might be shocked at how things turn out. What would you do if you woke up tomorrow with $1 million in cash, tax-free? This is another question about making goals. Why would you do something different? What are you going to get into or out of? What would you do more or less of? What would you do first if you found out today that you had been given $1 million in cash? In other words, how would you change your life if you had no restrictions at all? We often stay in bad situations because we are afraid of the changes that could bring us better. When you think you have all the money you need to do or be anything you want, though, your real goals often become clear. You might think about leaving your job right away if you won a lot of money. This is because you might be in the wrong job right now. Winning a lot of money wouldn't change your mind about your job, though, if it was the right one for you. So ask, what would I do if I won $1 million cash, tax-free, tomorrow? Another question to help you figure out what your real goals are. What have you always wanted to do but were too scared to try? When you look around you and see people doing things you admire, what have you always wanted to do but were afraid to try? Would you like to start your own business? Have you ever thought about running for office? Have you ever wanted to start a new job? Have you ever wanted to do something but been afraid to? When making short and long-term goals for your life, you should always ask yourself, what do I enjoy doing most in each area of my life? For example, what would you do all day at work if you could? It's possible to do anything full-time without getting paid. What would it be? What kind of work or project makes you the happiest and most satisfied? Abraham Maslow, a psychologist, came up with the term peak experiences to describe the times when a person feels the happiest, most happy, and most energized. One of your life goals is to have as many peak moments as you can. If you want to do this, you need to think about your best times from the past, and then imagine how you could recreate them in the present and the future. What have been the best times of your life so far? What can you do to make more of those times happen? What do you love to do the most? You should also set goals for how you want to be involved in and contribute to your neighborhood and social groups. Take some time to think about what you want to change in the world. What groups, causes, needs, or social issues do you want to work with or for? What would you like to see different? Who would you like to help who is less wealthy than you? If you were rich on your own, what causes would you help the most? What can you do right now to start changing the world? Don't put things off until some point in the future when everything is perfect. Instead, do something today to start. Setting goals for your money is one of the most important things you can do. If you can get all the money you need, you could probably reach most of your other goals more quickly and easily than you can now. How much money would you like to make every month or every year if everything went perfectly? How much do you want to save and put away every month and year? When you grow up, how much do you want to be worth? By the time you leave, what kind of state do you want to have reached? When do you want that to happen? A lot of people have trouble figuring out what their financial goals are but once you're crystal clear on them, you have a much better chance of reaching them. As soon as you know exactly what you want, you can think about your goals all the time. The more you think about them, the faster they will come true. By asking yourself about your goals in different areas of your life, you can start to make your thoughts clearer and become a more focused and sure person. You go from being a wandering generality to a meaningful specific, as Zig Ziglar puts it. The most important thing is that you can now figure out your major definite purpose in life. This is the start of great success and amazing performance. Your clear main goal will be the subject of the next chapter, and how to reach it will be the subject of the chapters that follow. Figure out your real goals. Right now, write down your 3 most important goals. What are the 3 things that worry or bother you the most right now? What would you do right away if you woke up tomorrow with $1 million in cash, tax-free? What do you love to do the most? Which things make you feel the most valuable, important, and satisfied? Suppose you had a magic wand that could make anything happen in your life. What would you want? What are you going to do? What would you do with your time if you knew you had 6 months to live? Tell me, what would you really want to do with your life if you could do anything? How many times do you think people try to reach their new goals before they give up? Less than once a year is the norm. Most people give up before they even try. They give up because there are so many problems, challenges, and roadblocks when they decide to do something they have never done before. The truth is that people who are successful fail a lot more often than people who are unsuccessful. To be successful, people try more things, fall down, get back up, and try again and again until they get it right. It's rare for unsuccessful people to try anything new. If they do, they only do a few things before giving up and going back to what they were doing before. Before you reach your goals, you should expect to fail and fall short a lot of times. You should see loss and short-term defeat as some of the things you have to go through to get to where you want to be. In the words of Henry Ford, failure is merely an opportunity to more intelligently begin again. When you know what you want to achieve, ask yourself, why am I not there already? What is stopping you? Why haven't you reached your goal yet? List all the things that are stopping you from reaching your goal. Writing down everything that comes to mind that might be stopping you or moving you more slowly can help you move forward. Keep in mind that most of the time you become what you think about. Successful people think in a way that we call solution orientation when they are faced with problems and issues. Good at what they do usually think about how to fix things. Lots of the time, unsuccessful people think about issues and issues that they face. Solution-oriented people are always trying to find ways to get around or over the things that are in their way. People who are obsessed with problems talk all the time about them, including who or what caused them, how sad or angry they are, and how bad it is that they happened. On the other hand, people who are solution-oriented just ask, how can we solve this? And then do something to fix the problem. No matter what you want to do, there will always be some kind of trouble or hurdle in the way. This is why being able to solve problems is sometimes seen as a sign of success. Being a personal boss means being able to fix issues. Being effective means being able to fix issues. People who have done important things have learned how to solve the problems that get in the way of their goals. You can learn how to solve problems, just like you can learn how to ride a bike or type on a computer. And the more you think about answers, the more and better ones you'll get. Because you get better at handling tasks, you will be able to do them faster next time. If you get better at solving problems quickly, you will be asked to solve problems that are bigger and cost more. In the end, you'll have to solve problems that could cost you and other people a lot of money. This is how the world works. You can solve any problem or get past any problem that stands in your way of reaching your goal. Are you really interested in the goal? If so, You already have all the knowledge and skills you need to get past any problem that might be stopping you. One of the most important ideas in recent years to come from thinking was written about by Elihu Goldratt in his book, The Goal is the Theory of Constraints. This theory says that there is something stopping you from doing what you want to do, and that thing limits how fast you can get there. One example is when you are going on the highway and there is work that forces all the cars into one lane. This choker point, or slowdown, is what limits how fast you can get to your destination. The speed at which you get through this traffic jam will decide how fast you go the rest of the way. There is always a problem or limitation you have to get past in order to reach a big goal. Your job is to correctly spot it and then put all of your efforts into getting rid of that key barrier. You can move forward faster than with any other step if you can get rid of this obstacle or deal with this thing that is holding you back. You can use the 80-20 rule to figure out what's stopping you from reaching your goals. Following this rule will keep you from doing 80% of the things you want to do. The other 20% will come from other people and events. To put it another way, the main thing that stops you from reaching your goals is generally yourself. Most people find this hard to believe, but great people care more about what is right than who is right. Superior people care more about what's really going on and how they can fix the problem than they do about keeping their feelings safe. Think about what is stopping you. What am I unwilling to do? Finding the main things in your personality, character, skills, abilities, habits, education, or experience that might be stopping you from reaching your goals is something you should really think about. Be brutally honest with yourself and ask the tough questions. Most of the time, the biggest things that are stopping you from reaching your goals are mental. They are psychological and emotional. They are not in the situation around you, but inside of you. And you need to start with these mental blocks if you want to do everything that is possible for you. There are two main things that get in the way of success and achievement: fear and doubt. Most people don't try because they're afraid of failing, being poor, losing something, being embarrassed, or being turned down. The average number of times someone tries to reach a new goal is less than one. As soon as he thinks about the goal, his fears take over and put out his desire like a bucket of water on a small fire. Self-doubt is the second mental hurdle that goes hand in hand with fear. We have doubts about our skills. We think that other people are better, smarter, and more skilled than we are when we compare ourselves to them negatively. People often tell themselves, "I'm not good enough." They feel like they can't handle the difficulties of reaching their big goals. While doubt and fear can be bad, the good news is that they are both learned feelings. Have you ever seen a baby that was bad? When they are born, children have no fears or worries at all. Also, anything that has been learned can be undone with practice and repetition. Courage and confidence are the best ways to fight doubt and fear. Your levels of fear and doubt will go down as your courage and confidence go up. These bad feelings will also have less of an impact on how you act and perform. Getting smart and skilled is how you build courage and confidence. Most fear and doubt come from not knowing enough or feeling like you're not good enough in some way. It's true that the more you learn about how to reach your goals, the less scared you will be and the more brave and sure of yourself you will feel. When you learned to drive for the first time, you probably felt stressed and scared and did a lot of things wrong. You might have been driving crazy and put yourself and other people in danger. You became more confident as you got better at driving, as you learned more about it and got better at it. Today, you are so sure of your driving skills that you don't even have to think about it. You can get in your car and drive across the country without any fear or worry. You can use the same rules to learn any skill you need to reach any goal you set for yourself. Over the course of more than 25 years, Dr. Martin Seligman of the University of Pennsylvania studied what he called Learned helplessness. After talking to and studying thousands of people, Seligman came to the conclusion that more than 80% of people have some level of learned helplessness, and sometimes a very high level. Someone with learned hopelessness thinks they can't reach their goals or make their life better no matter what. When someone with learned helplessness is presented with a chance, possibility, or new goal, they immediately say, "I can't." They then go on to list all the reasons why they can't reach that goal or opportunity. I can't move ahead in my career. I can't get a better job. I can't take time off to study. I can't save money. I can't lose weight, etc. Henry Ford also said, "If you believe you can do something or you believe you cannot, in either case, you are probably right." Learned helplessness is often caused by being criticized negatively as a child, having bad events as a child, or failing as an adult. To get over this natural tendency to be too hard on yourself, make plans, set small goals, and work on them every day. Like growing strength, this helps you become more brave and sure of yourself over time. You can set even bigger goals as you gain more faith in your skills and abilities. Over time, your fears and doubts will get smaller, and your courage and confidence will grow. They will then take over the way you think. As time goes on and you build a history of success, you will soon be unable to be stopped. The second mental barrier you need to get past is your safe zone. Many people are happy with their current situations and don't want to change anything, even if it would be better. They get so used to their job, relationship, pay, or amount of responsibility that they don't want to. The safety zone gets in the way of goals, desires, drive, and success. When people are stuck in their comfort zone and have learned to be useless, it's hard to help them in any way. Do not let this happen to you. Setting big, hard goals is the best way to get out of your comfort zone and break free from learned helplessness. Then, you make a list of jobs that need to be done by a certain date and work on them every day. Soon, the sluggishness and laziness of learned powerlessness and the comfort zone will break up for you like an ice floe breaking up in the spring. You will start moving faster and faster toward doing more and more of what is possible for you. Once you have a list of all the things that are stopping you from reaching your main goals, put them in order of how important they are to you. What is the biggest problem? If you had a magic wand that could remove one big thing in your way, what would it be? Removing that one thing would help you get ahead faster. Management expert Ian Mitroff has some interesting things to say about getting rid of problems and problems that are in the way. He says that before you try to fix a problem, you should describe it in more than one way. Watch out for problems that have only one explanation or one way to solve them. Think about your goal and ask yourself, why am I not there already? What answer comes to mind? Why are you not moving forward? What's getting in your way? You need to get really clear on the right problem at this point before you start taking steps to get rid of it. The question, what else could be the problem, should be asked after each description of the problem. When I work with businesses or people, the first thing we do is set the goal of doubling all of our gains or income. Then I ask, why aren't our profits or income twice as high already? When we ask the same question over and over, we often get an answer that is very different from what we think it is. The questioning process looks like this. We're not making enough sales. What else could be the problem? Our individual sales are not large enough per customer. What else could be the problem? Our advertising is not attracting enough customers. What else could be the problem? As you can see, each of these problems will need a different set of steps to be fixed. Increasing the number of sales is what we do when we don't have enough. We will raise the amount of money we make from each customer if our sales aren't big enough per person. The only way to fix the problem that our ads aren't getting enough people is to make them better in some way. You could say, "Our customers aren't buying enough from us. What else could be wrong?" Or, "Our customers aren't buying from us often enough. What else could be wrong?" Or, "Our salespeople aren't selling enough to our customers." This could mean that the sales force needs to be completely retrained, managed, and hired better. Another thing that might be wrong: our customers are buying too many of our products from our competitors. What else could be the problem? Our competitors are selling too much of their products to our customers. This answer forces you to consider, what value or benefit do our prospective customers see in purchasing from our competitors? How could we offset this perceived benefit? What else could be the problem? Our sales don't make us enough money. What else could be wrong? For every sale, it costs us too much. What else could be wrong? So on. Every time the problem is rethought, it brings up new ideas for how to reach the goal of more sales or higher profits. One of the biggest wastes of time and money is using the wrong answer for the wrong problem. This is brought up in the business book The McKinsey Way, which is about how McKinsey & Company does management consulting. This can also be used for your problems and roadblocks. Each meaning leads to a different set of answers by helping you figure out what is stopping you from reaching your personal income goals. You have to change the way you think about them. It's the same in your free time. How well you can pinpoint the problems or bottlenecks that are stopping you will decide which of the many steps you can take to get rid of or ease those problems will work best. You could begin by stating the problem this manner: I'm not earning enough money. What else is the problem? I'm not contributing enough value to be worth more money. What else could be the problem? I'm not good enough at what I do to be capable of getting results that are worth more than I'm earning today. What else could be the problem? I don't use my time efficiently enough during the workday. What else could be the problem? I spend my evenings watching television, my weekends socializing, and I seldom read or learn anything that would help me to be better at my job. Once you know what the biggest problem is that's stopping you, rewrite it as a good goal. You could say something like, my goal is to keep improving my skills and abilities so that I am in the top 10% of money earners in my field. Then you would make a list of all the things you could do to improve your knowledge and skills, get better at managing your time, work faster and more efficiently, and make more sales for your company. You give yourself due dates and measurements for each step in your plan to be the best at what you do. Then you pick one important job and get it done right away. You will be responsible for your actions from now on. You hold yourself accountable for the things you need to do to change into the person you need to be in order to reach your goals. You are back in charge of your life after this exercise of writing down what is stopping you and then figuring out how to get rid of that obstacle. You can almost be sure of your final success and the achievement of almost any goal you set for yourself if you stick to your decision. Talk to someone you know and trust about your problem description. If you have any doubts or questions about how well it describes the problem, leave your ego at the door and ask for honest comments and judgment. Listen to the idea that you might have deep-seated flaws and weaknesses that are stopping you from reaching your full potential. Be very honest with yourself. Ideas, chances, and solutions will come to you from different places once you understand your problem or hurdle. You will start to bring into your life all sorts of tools that will help you get past the problem or hurdle, whether it's inside you or in the world around you, and move you closer to your goal more quickly. Remember the old saying, there is a solution for every problem under the sun, or there is none. If there is a way out, find it. If not, don't worry about it. There is some kind of answer out there for every problem or thing that is stopping you from doing what you want to do. To reach your goal faster, you need to be very clear on what is stopping you and then spend all of your time and energy on getting rid of that obstacle. If you get rid of your biggest problem, you can often make more progress in a few months than most people do in a few years.